Good evening, my friends. How are you today? Look, guys, psychology says that sometimes when a woman wants to have sex with her husband, she shows it in a very simple way. Maybe with a simple greeting or a peace gesture. The strange thing is that many men think that they will know right away that their wife wants them. In their imagination, the signs will be clear. Long glances, exciting touches, direct flirting, or even an explicit invitation. But the reality is completely different. When a woman is really done and thinking about a relationship, it is very rare that she gives big or clear signals. On the contrary, the signs are usually hidden in very small details, such as the way she greets her husband in a fleeting moment. This video, guys, is directed largely to married couples who have gone through a separation, whether a divorce or even a period of quarrel. We will explain to the man how to notice that his wife still needs him and still wants his presence. Before we begin, I need your support, as always, my loves. Like the video and comment to tell me your opinion or any questions. You have and also share so that it reaches more people, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. And whoever wants to join the channel membership will be a great support for me. Write to me in the comments your names so that we know where our followers come from all over the world. And do not forget, your opinion is very important to me. It helps me to develop and always provide the best. Let's start the video together. You may think that the word "how are you" or "peace" is normal, or even a small smile is just a compliment. But the truth is that these simple things sometimes have very strong psychological messages behind them in the first seconds of a meeting. Much more happens than just a normal social procedure. Social psychology and the psychology of attraction confirm that desire always finds a way to appear, even if the wife does not want to admit it consciously. The matter is like an involuntary leak from the unconscious. The body sometimes says things that the mind is unable or does not want to say. Come now, let's see together 6 different ways of greeting. If it appears, it may reveal the presence of a real desire or even a desire that is still forming. The first stage of greeting with physical touch is when there is physical attraction. The body tries to find a way to touch you. It is true that many people exchange hugs or kisses on the cheek as a kind of habit without any special meaning. But here, there is a big difference between a normal social gesture and a touch charged with intimacy. That is, if she's greeting you, her body is closer to yours than normal, or you feel that her hip or chest has clearly touched yours, then this is a strong indicator. You may also notice that she left her hand on your back for a second longer, or waited a moment before sending it. This is not a coincidence or just a matter of taste. No, this is a subtle way to experience the feeling of touch and eliminate the distance between you, even if just for a short moment. The psychology of touch asserts that physical contact prepares the body for intimacy. At this time, the brain secretes a hormone called oxytocin, or the bonding hormone, which strengthens the emotional bond between the two parties. So if you find that she is looking for any reason to prolong the lens for a while, then it is most likely that she is actually imagining herself with you in a closer and more intimate situation. The second sign of peace is a scrutinizing look. This is a very strong sign. Even a friendly greeting is accompanied by brief, polite, and neutral eye contact. But if there is physical attraction, the matter changes. Then you will find that her gaze is not just a greeting, but rather turns into a quick body scan. It does not have to be a long or deliberate look to lure you in. On the contrary, it is often very quick, and sometimes you do not notice it if you are not paying attention. For example, you will find that her eyes move from your eyes to your chest, then your waist or hands, and then return to the top again. At first, You may feel that this is just a coincidence, but the truth is that it is an unconscious movement that psychologists call the evaluative look. This look is like a quick body scan. The brain, affected by attraction, unconsciously imagines what might happen in a physical interaction. This means that she is not only looking at your clothes, but she anticipates and imagines what is behind it. The simple word is not just a compliment, but rather an implicit acknowledgement of the existence of tension between you. The smile or the look appears as if she is saying, "We both know that there is something greater than mere friendliness." From a psychological point of view, this is a very strong indicator that she is imagining a special relationship, even if the scene around you is very ordinary social. This type of sharing that is not said out loud works like a secret code that creates a small bubble around the two of them, as if the outside world has no value at this moment. And these feelings themselves reveal very clearly that there is an existing desire. The fourth sign of peace that breaks boundaries, personal distance in psychology, is something called proxemia, or the study of distances between people, which says that it is normal for any person to maintain a safe distance of about 60 centimeters with the person in front of him, especially if the relationship is not very close. Therefore, when a woman gets closer to you than this distance without there being a clear reason, it is very rare for it to be a coincidence. For example, if she is talking and her hand touches your arm, the situation here is not just a friendly or tasteful gesture. This movement is usually a kind of sensory test, as if she is experiencing the feeling of extreme closeness to you. From a psychological standpoint, breaking this distance is considered a means of causing a reaction. Will she retreat and move away? Or will she remain static? Or even get closer to her? Peace in this situation turns into a silent experience through which she knows your reaction and determines whether it is appropriate to continue a step forward or not. Feel the peace sign with 2 touches. Touch in general is one of the strongest signs of seduction. But if a woman adds a second point of contact during the peace, then it is very rare for the subject to be innocent. For example, she might hug you, and then, when she ends the hug, leave her hand on your arm for a while. Or during a normal handshake, you find her placing her other hand on your chest or shoulder for a moment. This second touch is not intended for balance or support, as it may appear. It has a clear psychological value when you multiply the points of contact. It creates a faster degree of intimacy and closeness. Evolutionary psychology considers these multiple touches a means to accelerate bonding, as if it were an indirect message saying, "I am comfortable with your body." She is, in fact, testing your response, and at the same time, gradually opening the door to go beyond physical touch, step by step. So peace here is not just a greeting, but rather an attempt to explore the possibility of a deeper physical relationship. The 6th sign of peace with a change in the tone of voice. This point is very important, and many men do not pay attention to it, although it is one of the clearest signs. Studies say that arousal is affected on the tone of voice and its rhythm, and often without the woman noticing. For example, you find her greeting her friends in a normal, soft voice, but as soon as she speaks to you, the tone of her voice changes. It might become slower, softer, and sometimes deeper. She might even prolong it while saying your name as if she enjoys it. This is not intentional, but rather a natural result of the changes that occur in the body during attraction. Desire activates the nervous system, which affects the psyche and consequently changes the way of speaking. That is why this simple change is considered one of the most honest signs, because it is very difficult to control consciously. But why do these signs appear in the first place? Humans are, in the end, social beings, and at the same time, biological. Even the simplest behaviors are affected by hormones and development. When a woman is attracted, her body and subconscious tries to express this desire while at the same time maintaining its normal social appearance. The greeting here is an ideal moment that appears short and normal from the outside, but it is loaded with internal messages, such as a look, breaking the distance, or a change in voice. These behaviors are universal, meaning they exist in all people, but its intensity varies from one personality to another and from one culture to another. There are women who show it very clearly, and there are those who show it with extreme shyness. But in all cases, desire always finds a way out, even if it is in an extra embrace, a different smile, or an unusually warm tone of voice. Here, we must be aware of something. We must not exaggerate in interpreting any single movement, a smile, a look, or a touch. They may just be affection or a good mood, but if you find these signs repeated and together, it will be very difficult to ignore the message. The key is to be observant, but without turning into an obsessive obsession. Correct observation must be done with a spirit of respect and curiosity, not a poem about evidence or an attempt to exploit the concerns of these signs. These signs are not to pressure her, but to understand the dynamic between you, which may also be mutual. In conclusion, the psychology of attraction shows us that desire does not always appear in direct words or clear signals. Sometimes it leaks through very small details like a greeting that takes longer than necessary, a quick victory on your body, a smile that seems complicit, an unusual closeness, 2 touches instead of 1, or even a change in the tone of her voice. Each sign alone may seem simple, but when they come together, they form a silent language that says a lot. In the end, the way the wife greets you may reveal her feelings and desires, and sometimes her intention to transform the relationship from a quarrel or distance to something much more intimate. I have thus finished the video, and may God reunite you and bring the distant closer. Goodbye, my friends. I love you all.